Hey, greetings, class. Welcome to INT2110 Server Administration. I'm excited about the class. I'm excited to have you in the class. I wanted to go over some things about me and then some of the homework and projects and assessments that you're going to be running into. So this is basically the Miller-Mont homepage to the course. If you go to instructor announcements, one thing that I do is I always make a lesson deliverable for the particular lesson. In lesson one deliverable, I like to put due dates and put links to what you have to do so you're understanding in what you have to do. There's a lot of work to do in the class, but I'm sure you're up for it. Um, and I wanted to go over some of those things. We know that we have two discussions and two replies, so we can go and simply look at those discussions in lesson one. We have the discussions here, lesson one, discussion one and two. They're going to come from some of the things in your book or in the chapter presentations, chapter one and two. If you wanted to access your book, you simply click on this ebook. It should launch a separate window that goes to your Cengage book. Now you might get this blank screen, and that's very common for this site. All you'll have to do is simply click on the home and things will populate. This is a great book. You should definitely take time to read everything in this book. Even if it's not covered in the lessons, it's very good for your profession if this is where you want to go. And it's very important to know the server roles and features and installing the server. You can click on the side here to get to things such as the glossary or highlights or the full book. What we're going to be working in is lesson one, which is covering chapters one and two. And then you'll be doing a project in this lesson. So we'll go over first the homework. You're going to be using a simulation lab called Test Out Lab Sim. I like this because you're able to actually do things on the server. It opens up an instance of the server or a virtual server. I understand that up here it tells you that you need to download and install Server 2012. This may be tough for you to do because you may not have the hardware to install it on something. If you do, I would recommend to go ahead and download that. If you don't have anything to install it on, it's an operating system, so you need a server or a desktop or a laptop or a virtual machine to install it on. But that is available for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch a test out lab sim. We'll launch the first one here. You get a window, you have to scroll inside of this window to launch test out. What it'll do is it'll launch a simulation lab. If you've already done work, it's going to ask you to submit it. You don't have to necessarily until you're done with that. So I just avoid that. We're going to start the lab. This first area right here goes over the objectives of the lab. It may be good to copy that and paste it in Word and print it out, but it will be also inside the lab. If you're having a problem launching this, it could be because of Flash. It could be the browser, so make sure you try a different browser. I'm using Internet Explorer. You could use Edge, you could use Chrome. I think probably Internet Explorer is the best option, but I'll leave that up to you. If you have problems launching it, it may be necessary to go ahead and try a different browser. And I'm going to provide that help desk number to test out in case you have problems there. So here's Server 2012. It launched an instance of Server 2012 with Server Manager up and running. And on the right, I have the scenario of what items I'm supposed to do. So I just follow the items, right? It's telling me in Server Manager, click on administrative tools, click on local security, right? So I just follow these items, right? We'll do the first one for you, and then we'll let you do the rest. And sometimes it does take a minute to load, so just be patient with it and let it load. If it takes too long, maybe your connection's not strong enough, or perhaps you need to go somewhere else that has a stronger, or contact the help desk. So the next thing it's telling us, go to account policies, password policies, and we're going to change the maximum age of the password to 10, right? Password, this is age, right? And it's saying length, so I would have gotten that wrong, right? Set the minimum password length to 10. So I right click properties, minimum password length, 10, apply, okay. So I've done that first step there and close that. And then I'll just keep going down until I get to the bottom. Once I'm done, I would go ahead and click done and submit it. And so that's pretty much it for the simulation lab. You do have also, we're going to go back. So you have several of those test out lab sims, right, in 1 and 2. Then you have a case. This case is basically telling you to go to case project 2.1, which is in your book. And you're going to do a writing 1 to 2 pages long. So we would go to our book, right? We're going to go to case project 1.2, which you would just find in your book, or I think it's 2.1, so I went to the wrong chapter, of course. Right, so I'm going to go back. I can go to my full book. Chapters, chapter 2. It's towards the end of chapter 2, right? So I'll click on the end here. And so you can click through here to find that project 2.1, case project 2.1, which is right here. I did, however, include that in my instructor announcements. I put that in the lesson deliverables, which every week you'll get one of those, and I put it down here on the bottom, what that project is for your convenience, so you don't have to look through that. I've also put some other information about what this should look like, right? So it's saying you need to write a page. So I said to use the template in the e-resource writing center. So, and this is for all your classes that require writing. You go to the e-resource writing center. So I just click on e-resource, and there's a writing center in here. And there it is, so the e-resource writing center. And there's this APA assignment template. I could just click that, open it up. It'll open up Microsoft Word. There it goes. And it already has that template for me with a cover page, and actually that got redirected, so it didn't open up correctly. Try it again. I may need to save it if it doesn't open correctly. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get that saved. It open up. I paused it there to make sure everything was okay. It did open up, and this is what it looks like. We'll go ahead and do it to this view where it has the running head, title of paper, some information, and then some items to type. It's not necessary to do the abstract. You can put introduction, but again, that's not necessary. It will be necessary for other classes that you have, just so you know. To change this header, you simply double click in it and you type your header, so project 1 or whatever you want to do, then double click out of it. And then your writing should have just an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, right? It should not be plagiarized. Don't copy things. I do check and read all papers. So be sure that you're typing your own words. I want to see what you have to say and not what a book has to say. You can certainly support your work using something else, but if you do use something else, you will have to reference that and create a reference for it. So that, again, is in the e-resource writing center. I have a link here. You download that, you type that project in there. Then the final thing for each week, so to go back to the lesson deliverables, right, you have 2 discussions, 2 replies to those discussions, your homework, your project, which is that typing assignment that I just showed you, and then you have your lesson 1 assessment. The assessment's in Moodle. You'll launch it here. Again, it's 1 attempt. You have 60 minutes, and you just follow the instructions here. Okay. Good luck. Have fun in the class. Make sure you're getting that lab sim and doing everything you can. Thanks. Bye.